With a relentless focus on excellence in healthcare, Pullman Regional Hospital presents the Health Podcast.
Perhaps you've heard of the Regional High School Athletic Training Program. Well, to learn a little bit more about it, and also about Athletic Training Month, we'll turn to an expert in the field. Today, we'd like to welcome Kai Sashiki, a certified athletic trainer at Colton High School and a member of Pullman Regional Hospital's Athletic Training Program. Hello, Kai, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you. Now, you're an athletic trainer at Colton High School. Could you briefly describe what your job entails?
Well, the essence of athletic training is simply to be at practices, at events, and to ensure the health and wellness of your athletic population. The goal is that I get to sit there, watch a game, and do absolutely nothing. But the reality is that we're taking on athletes, a good 2 to 3 hours before the event starts. We're stretching, we're fixing the small things like, my fingernail is blown out, or my knee is killing me, or something's changed, my back hurts. And there's quick evaluation and resolution tools that we use to try and help these kids be the best athlete they can be. And then we go through our pregame, we go through the game. If anything should happen on the floor, it's my responsibility to be out there, if necessary to be out there, evaluate and take care of that person right there and facilitate the best course of action. Can I get this kid up and get him back into the game? Do I need to pull him for a minute? Do I need to call an ambulance? There's a variety of things that happen in sports. You've all watched TV and seen the horrific and amazing things that can happen in sports. So my job is to be there and facilitate the best possible outcome for our athletes.
An essential job. You're part of the Regional High School Athletic Training Program as well. For listeners who don't know, what does this program provide?
So that program was set into motion by Pullman Regional Hospital and Inland Orthopedics, which provides a really interesting approach to placing an athletic trainer in a high school. And that means that I get to be at a high school every single day for every single practice and for every single event, which, if we look back into our history of providing medical care for athletes, none of us growing up ever got the opportunity to see a real professional that was there the entire time. We maybe got to see a school nurse, or if we were hurt bad enough, we could make it into the doctor at some point. But having an athletic trainer on site provides me an exposure to my athletes every single day. And that's a huge boon for seeing that knee, that it's getting better or it's getting worse. Or yesterday I saw a foot that it's been bugging this kid on and off. And yesterday I watched her do something during practice and I said, that's why it's bugging her. It's because of this move and this shoe and this thing. So the exposure to an athlete over that given time gives you a really good rapport with them, as well as the opportunity to observe biomechanics and injury forces and all these things that allow you to make a better treatment plan. That's the essence of the program, is to place a professional in a school that can help facilitate the best outcomes for athletes. A coach is an amazing individual. They know the sport inside and out. But for them to have to be responsible for the medical care of their athletes on top of coaching the sport, that's a lot to ask of someone. So having a trainer there means that trainer can be responsible for, I'll pull this kid, I'll bandage them up, I'll treat them right, and either put them back or have a 2-second conversation with the coach to say, I'm sorry, they're done. And that takes that weight off the coach. It lets mom and dad know that somebody's out there absolutely watching for their kids. And it's an overall good idea to make sure that we're taking care of the health of our young people.
It's just a win-win all around. And also, you're able to provide immediate access to an orthopedic surgeon for your athletes. Could you touch on how important that turnaround time is?
Having access to a professional and other athletic trainers because of this program is what really seals the deal as amazing. Working in a high school as an athletic trainer in the general populace means that you have some ties here or there, but having the program ties means we have the physicians that started it in Inland Orthopedics, and also we have our physician champions. So, for instance, Dr. Fisher is one of my physician champions who I can call and say, hey, doc, I got a kid with a chipped tooth. How bad do I need to worry about this? Snap him a picture, and he'll respond and say, oh, you're good, or bring that in, or he'll give me advice right then and there. That's amazing. I called Dr. Tingstead while he was on vacation to get an x-ray for a kid, and he just said, all right, I'll look at it. And he used his phone, did a quick look, and told me what I needed to know. This access is completely different from, say, if you're at home and you stubbed your toe thinking that maybe you broke it or something, you would have to go to the doctor. He would maybe send you a referral, and that would go to another doctor. And that's looking at, right now, given the state of things, 4 to 6 week event, whereas I have the access to call these professionals right then and there, and they may not pick up right then and there, but they're going to get back to me within a given period of time. They know that if I'm calling, it's not to chat, it's because I've got something going on. So the opportunity, it decreases that time out for an athlete if they have been removed. It also increases our catching of really problematic issues. If I have a knee that I don't like the way it looks, I can call my fellow trainers, I can call people at Summit Therapy, I can call Dr. Tingstead, Dr. Hazelwood, and I can just say, I don't know what's going on here. Either I'm not good enough, which, gosh, I hate to tell you, it happens, or maybe it's just something that they know a lot better about, which of course they do. They're physicians, they're physical therapists, they're other trainers with different experiences. So it's fair for me to take something I'm not well versed in and put it into somebody else's hands, because the overall outcome needs to be the health of the individual.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking you probably end up wearing a lot of different hats and helping students in a variety of different areas. What does your relationship with your student athletes look like?
You know, in a small school, it's really, really common to be a jack of all trades. And that's really kind of the way it has to work in a really small place, because you don't have the funding to hire 3 different people to do a job. You have one person that does 5 different jobs. And as an athletic trainer, it's been really neat to work with these kids from, at this point, kindergarten through 12th grade. That's an amazing rapport you get to build with a kid from their first day of education, where they see you and go, oh, I don't know who that guy is, to maybe their time in 5th grade where they bring you a skinned knee and you tape it up and put some good stuff on it, and they, oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool. By the time they're seniors, where they're asking for letters of recommendation, or they're being those future humans that we want to see, and I got to play a small role in that. It can range. My role can range from driving an equipment van to get us over to state championships, taking care of injuries like I'm supposed to do. Last month, I was a coach for 6 minutes because our junior varsity coach was out. Our varsity coach had to go and prep the varsity team, and the last person on the bench was me. So that was it. I was a coach for 6 minutes. I did not do or say anything. I just sat there quietly, and that was the end of that.
Now, in a small town, student athletes often participate in multiple sports. How does this impact the care that you provide?
That is one of the most amazing things about having a small town, is that the same 5 kids that play basketball, you add a couple extras and you've got your football team. You add a couple extras and you've got your baseball team. But that is by far creating the most difficult athletic training that I have done in my entire career. And it's simply because a kid who plays one sport is typically up at the varsity level, because we don't often have enough kids to field a JV team. Or if we do have enough kids to field a JV team, it's exactly 5. So for basketball or some of the other sports, there's no chance for us to field a JV team. So in small schools like mine, we can pull an 8th grader up to play at a varsity level. Now, an 8th grader is, I believe, 13 to 14 years old, and a senior in high school is 17 to 18 years old. Given any football competition, if you send an 18-year-old man against a 13 to 14-year-old child, you stand a chance of some significant differentials. That's going to create some issues. And it's not that we would do that on purpose. It's simply that you don't have a choice. So if you lose an athlete, say you lose one of your varsity athletes, or one of your seniors, because of an injury, because of a chronic injury, that's rotator cuff tendonitis, you lose your pitcher, well, you've also lost your quarterback. You've also lost your point guard. He's the same guy. And if you can't get that rotator cuff under control, you may not just lose your game, you may lose your season, you may bring an 8th grader up who is then in the situation of dealing with going against much larger, much more skilled humans. You have this continuous play that happens at our league, meaning the kids go from one sport to the next sport to the next sport and then go play summer ball somewhere, or they have a summer league or a sports camp at the university. And then they go out and drive truck or work harvest or do all the things that summer entails. And that rolls around from 9th grade into 10th grade, into 11th grade, finally into 12th grade. So I get sometimes 4, and sometimes if they're a skilled 8th grader, 5 solid years. And that makes the athletic training concept a very difficult challenge.
So, Kai, what's your favorite part of your job before we let you go?
So overall, the job creates a great opportunity to work within a very supportive community that is making sure that their kids are taken care of, giving me an exposure to these really neat humans that continue to love sports and do the right things by playing sports. And I get to share in their lifetime experience. So that's the best thing about it.
That is beautiful. And Kai, we so appreciate your time and everything you do to help our wonderful students. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And you can learn more about this subject, providers, and services at Pullman Regional Hospital online at pullmanregional.org/athletic-training. This has been the Health Podcast from Pullman Regional. I'm your host, Deborah Howell. Thanks for listening and have yourself a terrific day.